we better lighten up on that before we end up putting our lunchtime audience to. They might put their heads down and take a little nappy at 37 minutes past the hour of 12 noon as we welcome you back to the second half of hour number 1 of the Monday edition of Midday here on South Jersey's leader in live, local, and relevant radio, News Talk 1492.3 WOND. I'm David Spatz. Scott Stevens is at the producer's console. You know, I was all ready to do this this chat, and we're going to do it with Jed Gaylin, the music director of the Bay Atlantic Symphony, about their final performances of the concert season coming up this weekend. And then I get a text from a member of the Board of Trustees of the orchestra, Alice Parker. And she says, well, I'm really looking forward to this. And I thought, oh, great. And I had to text her back and say, well, now you got me nervous. But I was just kidding, because I never get nervous when I'm talking with a gentleman who has spent the past quarter century of his life leading the Bay Atlantic Symphony. Jed Gaylin, always a pleasure to talk to you, my man.
David, it's great to catch up with you. It's been too long, which I always do, because we have such fun and pleasant and interesting conversations. How have you been?
I've been fine. How about you? I mean, the whole live music is finally coming back.
Let me tell you, it's a bad time to be a lazy musician. It's a great time to be a busy musician, which is terrific. And, I have to say that we have been met with so much enthusiasm from our audiences. And one of the silver linings of this pandemic is to find out just how deeply our audiences love live performance, and when they couldn't get to them, how sorely they were missed. So, this has been at all our venues, the enthusiasm and the hunger for getting these concerts back, across our region has been really heartwarming.
Jed, it just brings to mind one of my favorite lyrics in all music, and that is from Joni Mitchell's Big Yellow Taxi. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?
Exactly right. And thankfully for us, this is a temporary, and has been, and I'm using the past, temporary loss. So, it's really nice when you have those rare opportunities in life to lose it for a little bit and say, we can bring it back. That doesn't always happen, right? So, when we can, we're thrilled about it. Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
I was going to say, and so right up next is we have our subscription concerts coming up this coming weekend, which I keep forgetting what the exact dates are, but I have to check my calendar.
April 30th.
The 30th and the 1st.
That's it, yep.
So May 1st at Stockton. And this is a great program, and this goes under the sort of smorgasbord kind of program. Right. We don't often do these, but they're really fun. There's a little bit of something for everyone. And so we start off with the Mendelssohn Midsummer Night's Dream Overture. This is an incredibly popular piece. He wrote it when he was 17 years old.
Wow.
And it's his second really big piece that has stayed with us. And people say it's one of the most incredible works written by anyone, even rivaling Mozart, at that age. It's filled with magic and mystery and excitement, and it's joyful. It's virtuosic. It's just a great way to open a concert. And, we're doing something really interesting with this piece. It's written for an instrument that you never hear. It's written for full orchestra, and one of the instruments is called the ophicleide. And this is like a cross between a brass instrument and a bassoon. And usually people just play it on the tuba. But we have, in the Philadelphia area, we have an ophicleidist named Jay Crush. So, if you wanted to know how it sounded with the instrument that Mendelssohn wrote it for, you'll get to hear that. That's just how we open. And we've got a fantastic pianist. He's played throughout the world with the great symphonies of the world. He happens to live in Montclair, Terrence Wilson, and he's playing Mozart's most famous piano concerto, the Elvira Madigan. So that's just the first half, so it goes from there.
What does a person do when they're asked, what do you do for a living? And they say, oh, I'm an ophicleidist. I would imagine that is going to
like... That's my other instrument.
Yes, Have you been standing in line at that cannabis place lately? You're making up.
No, he also is a fine tubist, and we worked with him for years.
Wow.
It's been a while since we've been able to bring him back, but he's a terrific player, a wonderful guy. Jay Crush is his name, and our soloist Terrence. This is it's funny. A friend of mine pointed out, Jed, you're doing two pieces that are known for movies that people no longer see. So Mozart's 21st Piano Concerto is called the Elvira Madigan Concerto because there was a film in 1947 about the circus performer named Elvira Madigan. She had a tragic love affair with a Swedish nobleman. And nobody knows the movie anymore, but people know the concerto that now has taken on this name. And then we're doing the Mahler Adagietto, which is an unbelievably beautiful piece for strings and harp. It's from his Fifth Symphony. But it also was part of the film score for Visconti's film Death in Venice. And so we have these two films, very languorous, both of them. And then those are the two pieces that are most languorous. But we have the Mozart, which is extraordinarily lively, the Mendelssohn, which is unbelievably lively, the Ritual Fire Dance by Manuel de Falla, which everyone knows to close out, and even a piece by Gabriel Fauré that's just dreamy. So I think this would be a great introduction to the symphony, or if you know the symphony and you wanted to bring friends to the concert, I think this would be a great way to say, hey, look, here's a whole range of the kind of music that the symphony plays and that you get to hear. It's just a kind of fantastic, chef's menu or tasting menu of a lot of the kinds of music that we play.
We should mention before we go any further that Saturday's show, Midsummer Night's Dream, it will be at the Rowan College, South Jersey, Cumberland campus at 3 p.m. on Saturday, and Sunday will be at the Stockton Performing Arts Center at Stockton University from 2 to 3 p.m. Tickets, how do you do tickets, Jed? Is it online?
Well, the easiest thing is to go on our website, bayatlanticsymphony.org, all one word, bayatlanticsymphony.org. And, they also can call the office, and since I have it now punched into my phone, I never quite remember it. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up in a sec. They can call 609-449-8873. They can also reach out to either of they can reach out to the Stockton box office.
Right.
The PAC is another way to do it. So any of those ways, we're happy in whatever way possible to get you tickets for this.
This is this coming year, this coming concert season, is going to be significant not only for you as you celebrate your 25th anniversary with the Bay Atlantic, but also for the orchestra itself, because it's celebrating its 40th anniversary of its founding, originally known as the Bridgeton Symphony, all the way back in 1983.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it?
Wow, yeah.
So two major milestones. I can't believe that I've been here for 25 years because each season has felt so new and fresh that, if somebody were to just sort of say, oh, how long has it felt? I'd say, maybe 10 years.
Right.
That's what it feels like. But it's a tremendously exciting year, and we've got all kinds of great music planned for the season. And we start off with a violinist who's played throughout the world with the great orchestras of the world, including the Philadelphia Orchestra, Cleveland Orchestra, Berlin Philharmonic. His name is Stefan Jakiv. We've worked with him many, many times. He's very comfortable with us, and I'm delighted that he called and approached us to play the Benjamin Britten Violin Concerto, which is a stunningly beautiful piece, and we'll do that with the Sibelius Fifth. That's how we open. I will let people know a little secret here, which is I have programmed myself to do one of my first loves, which is to play the piano with. And so I'll be playing and conducting a Mozart concerto in March as well.
Oh, that's cool.
And we're going to close the program with the Beethoven Nine. So it's a great year. And I got to tell you that the Beethoven Nine, it's a sellout situation. So the best way for people to make sure they can come to see that is to call us up, over the summer and subscribe to our season. That's always the best thing to do. And the thing is that we celebrate a lot this year. One of the things that we celebrate is not just our performances, but our educational activities. And, we're in the throes of that right now as we speak, too. Even before we do our concerts this coming weekend, we'll be performing at Rowan College, Cumberland, in the Guarasini Center. We'll be performing 2 different performances of the Mozart Concerto with Clarence and the Mendelssohn for school students throughout the region. So that's a big part of what we're celebrating with the symphony as well. Then we turn around and do that after the weekend and perform for 2 performances at Stockton on May 3rd. So we celebrate not just our performances at our subscription concerts, our concerts throughout the region, whether it's with our partners at Cape May, Avalon, in Atlantic City, Schultz Hill, but we're celebrating our education program. And, we keep going. So May 10th, we'll be performing through Schultz Hill. We'll be performing Appalachian Spring for a bunch of students throughout the region as well, also at Stockton. So our education program is something that we've always been deeply committed to. I love reaching out to our young people and unlocking their imaginations with this music.
Sure. We should also mention that in addition to being music director of the Bay Atlantic Symphony, that's a part-time gig because you're also music director of the Johns Hopkins Symphony Orchestra, the Two Rivers Chamber Orchestra, and now you're the principal conductor of the Cape May Music Festival, which begins May 1st. How do you keep all that music straight in your head?
I have a lot of different stacks of music in my office here. And people always know, when I'm on Zoom calls during the pandemic, my desk looks very clear. Now they just see mountains and mountains and mountains of music when I do the Zoom calls. I should say that the Cape May Music Festival position has been one that they named me back in 2003 when we started our residency there, and they've been incredible partners. And throughout the years, when Michael Zuckerman was the head of BAC,
right,
and now with Jody Alessandrine, he's been so enthusiastic and really been able to sustain what Michael did and even build on it. So we've got a bunch of concerts coming up with the Cape May Music Festival too. Our first one is a box lunch this coming Wednesday, even. So, wow. It's. Let me see if I have that right. Is it this Wednesday? Or I think it's the 5th. It's the 5th. It's a week from Wednesday. Okay. And then we have orchestra concerts there in June 16th and June 30th. One will be at the Church of the Advent, and the other is going to be a full orchestra concert at the Cape May Convention Hall. So, as I say, our partners have been just incredible and reached out to us with unbelievable enthusiasm, whether it's Cape May, whether it's we have budding partnerships throughout the region, possibly Salem County we're talking about for next year, and even the casinos again. So, but our longstanding partners have been unbelievably supportive and enthusiastic, and they remain so during the pandemic. We're very grateful to them.
I'm
talking about the Cape May Music Festival, Avalon, Borough of Avalon,
right,
Margate, Schultz Hill, to name just a few. You
mentioned partners, which is the perfect opportunity for me to break a little bit of news, because I happen to be on the Board of Trustees of the Schultz Hill Foundation, and I help with the annual fundraiser every year. And for years, I have been pushing. I will admit it right here. I have been pushing for Melissa Manchester, and finally, Gary and I, I said to Gary, "Come on, we got to do it." And the day I had heard that the Bay Atlantic was going to be jumping in, was it with Marie Osmond? Did you guys?
We did Marie Osmond. That's right, in December.
Okay, I thought, oh my God, we got to get some of the Bay Atlantic to sit behind Melissa. Before I even had a chance to shoot Gary a text, he texted me, said, "Don't tell anybody, but members of the Bay Atlantic are going to be performing behind Melissa Manchester, August 5th.
Yeah, this is August 5th. Very exciting. Melissa's music is so great. It just touches your heart.
Oh, yeah.
it's lyrical. She's a lyricist. I can see why. I didn't realize that came from you, David. I'm all the more delighted about this, and we're really looking forward to it.
Well, she's been actually, she hasn't performed in Atlantic City as much as she used to back in the mostly through the 80s and into the 90s. You couldn't turn around without finding her name on a casino marquee somewhere, because between her success as a singer and songwriter and on the stage, performing, she can do it all. And I just thought, I thought she would be the perfect artist, because she can do Broadway, she can do pop, she can do just about anything.
Yeah, she's an extremely gifted artist, and we're delighted for this partnership, and really looking forward to the concert too. I haven't gotten the playlist yet, so we're looking forward to seeing what that.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I was going to ask if you'd seen it yet. So does that put much pressure?
Yeah.
Does that? But how much? That doesn't put really a lot of pressure on you, because you're conducting an orchestra of professional musicians.
That's right. Because they can come in. I mean, our people are some of the finest throughout the region, and we pull from Philadelphia, we pull from South Jersey, we pull from New York, Baltimore. The musicians are really. It's an honor to work with them, David. It really is, and we have a great esprit de corps. And during this time, we've also expanded our pool of players, so which is great, and we're delighted to know that players from far and wide are interested in performing with us. It's really, really terrific.
Yeah, that's kind of like a seal of approval for the Bay Atlantic.
Absolutely, and to have so many of our, the best seal of approval is when people come back and ask you to return. Right. And I've just been delighted that pretty much any time we've started with a new partnership, they've always come back, the minute we hit the last note and said, when can you do the next one? That's unbelievably satisfying to you. It's one thing to get the first job, but the second job, that's the one and going on from there, that's when you. And the thing is that this is because the music that we play, whatever genre, is just top-notch music. So, I'd like to think that we offer exciting interpretations of it. Of course, our musicians are first-rate. But when you start off with excellent material, time-tested material, and this comes back to our concert this weekend, whether it's going to be the Mozart 21st Piano Concerto, people will know and recognize the Elvira Madigan Concerto. People will know and recognize the Mendelssohn Midsummer Night's Dream. And it gives expression to pretty much any and all facet that you can imagine of the human soul. Some of it we can't even put words to it. I mean, I think it's Victor Hugo who said, when words stop, that's where, a writer, right? Victor Hugo said, when words stop, that's where music begins. And I like to think that's what we're doing with the Bay Atlantic Symphony, whether we're doing it for education throughout the region, or whether it's performing at Stockton or at Rowan Cumberland or in Cape Avalon, Atlantic City, Margate. This is what we do, is to really try to reach people. And what we've learned is from the pandemic, people don't just like this, they crave it and they need it. Exactly.
We've been speaking with Jed Gaylin, Jed's music director of the Bay Atlantic Symphony, and has been for the past 24 and a half years. He'll be celebrating his 25th anniversary with the orchestra, and they are closing out their current concert series this coming Saturday, 3 p.m. at Rowan University's Cumberland campus, and then again Sunday, May 1st, at Stockton University's Performing Arts Center in Pomona. Jed, always great to talk to you, and I just can't wait to see what the next year brings. And I really can't wait to see Melissa Manchester with the orchestra behind her. Looking forward to that too,
David. And I look forward to seeing you at these concerts when you can make it. And yes. I know we'll see you on August 5th with Melissa. So great.
Excellent. Jed, take care of yourself.
Thank you so much, David.
We'll talk again soon. Take care.
We'll talk soon. Be well. Thanks.
You too. Bye-bye. And there you go. That's right from the horse's mouth. We broke the news. The Bay Atlantic Symphony, not all 60 members, but a portion of them will be behind Melissa Manchester's small band. I mean, everybody that's on tour these days basically travels what they call self-contained. They don't. It's not like the old days of, say, the Casino era, where the musical artists would come to Atlantic City with their core, piano, bass, drums, like a rhythm. They're called the rhythm section, and then fill that in with the hotel's orchestra. All the hotels had their own orchestras. Well, the hotels began realizing, wait a minute, why should we be paying for the orchestras? Let the artists pay for it. And the artists said, no, you supply it. And then we ended up with self-contained. And I think the artists like it now because, they're playing with musicians that they're familiar with.
Right, they have more control.
All the time. I mean, it's all well and good to have a big orchestra, symphony orchestra behind you, but, that can also bring its share of issues. I don't expect there to be any issues with Melissa Manchester because she's used to the Broadway stage. They have big pit bands. So working with a live orchestra or portions of a live orchestra will not be very difficult for her. Incidentally, that show is August 5th. It'll be at Resorts Casino Hotel. I believe 8:30 p.m. will be the start time. Hear a little Melissa Manchester. They're going to take us up to news time. I just sounded like a 60s jock. Got Melissa Manchester taking us up to news time. Anyway, we do have to take a real quick time out for a news report from our partners at ABC News. Then we'll throw it down here for some local news from the Longport Media News Center, some local weather, some local messages, and then back with Jim Plausis, the chairman of the New Jersey Casino Control Commission, about a veterans job fair coming up this Thursday at the commission offices on the boardwalk. You're listening to the Monday edition of Midday on News Talk 1400, 92.3 WOND.
WOND Pleasantville.
W223CO Atlantic City.